I watched a handful of some of the worst movies ever made to determine which is the best moment in each one of them. Stay tuned to the end to discover the best moments in the worst movies. Regardless of how bad a movie might be, there's always a silver lining. Something that will make you laugh or even keep you wondering how the hell did this even get made. Let's get one of the most famous ones out of the way first. The Room from 2003. A film written, directed, produced, and starring a mysterious man named Tommy Wiseau. To this day, there really isn't much information about Tommy himself, like where he's from or how old he even is. After The Room was released, it soon began to garnish attention just because of how unintentionally funny it actually was. Originally meant to be a dramatic film about a man named Johnny that loves his fiancée Lisa oh so much, but she's not satisfied with this relationship, so she begins to cheat on him with his best friend Mark, played by Greg Sestero. Many things are a mystery about the production, especially where the funds came from, but there is a lot that is widely known thanks to a book written by Greg Sestero himself titled The Disaster Artist, which was later turned into a movie by he who should not be named, James Franco. Now let's get to what we're here for. The best/funniest moment from the movie. Although I personally find this movie hilarious from beginning to end, I had to pick just one moment. I know everyone will probably think it's this one.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
But that's not it for me. I would have to say that my favorite moment is the moment where Tommy gets fed up with the world.
Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.
The fight leading up to this is incredibly awkward and hilarious at the same time.
Get out my house. I kill you. Just a chicken. Chip, 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 chip.
And then it all ends up with Tommy angrily walking off and then very slowly climbing upstairs. Let's move on to the next flick, Miami Connection from 1988. A Taekwondo instructor named YK Kim decided to make a movie to inspire the world through friendship and martial arts. He went on to take out loans, mortgage his own Taekwondo school, and even spent all his savings to finance the movie. Upon finishing his masterpiece, YK Kim was excited for the future. Then Miami Connection was screened in theaters around Orlando, Florida. The very few people that watched it were already deeming it one of the worst movies they've ever seen. The production of the movie had almost bankrupted Kim, and his film just died right then and there. Until 2012, when a programmer at the Alamo Drafthouse bought the film reel randomly on eBay, and once watching it took it to Drafthouse Films, which ended up distributing the movie over 20 years after its original release. Miami Connection follows a group of adult orphans, believe it or not, that are all in college together even though they look like they're 45 years old. They're all experts in Taekwondo and also happen to be in a band together called Dragon Sound, which actually has a couple of fire songs. Their life was great until a gang of biker ninjas shows up, and now the group of adult orphans have to stand up for their town and protect it at all costs. I really do enjoy this movie, and a couple of songs in this I believe are actually bangers. So let's pick the funniest moment, although there are also so many in this one. Like, come on, just seeing ninjas riding motorcycles in broad daylight is funny enough. However, nothing beats the moment where Jim explains how he became an orphan.
I didn't know you had a father. I thought we are all orphans.
My mother was Korean and my father was Black American. But then when he finished military duty, he left and we never saw him again. She told me to find him, but I didn't like him because he left us. But I knew one day when I grew up I'd find him.
And then when he gets a letter from his long-lost father.
My father! I found my father! Oh my God! God, that was a great.
The acting from Jim during these scenes is perfectly awful. It can't help but make you laugh out loud. And at the end of the movie, when you actually see his father for the first time, he looks almost younger than Jim. He just has white painted on his hair.
I love you, son.
I love you too, Dad.
The next film on the list is Birdemic, Shock and Terror from 2010. A romantic thriller horror film written and directed by James Nguyen, a Vietnamese software salesman whose dream was to be a big-time director. Although this movie is known to be one of the worst movies of all time, James still believes that it's a good movie.
Birdemic, Shock and Terror is supposed to be a very serious romantic thriller.
Romantic thriller? Do you think it's a good film?
I think that it's a good film based with the condition that what I had from a distance, you know, it looked pretty realistic and shocking and terrifying, you know, just like $100 million picture.
And he's kind of right. Most popular commercial comedy movies don't make me laugh nearly as much as Birdemic does. One of my favorite things is how everyone in the movie speaks with the same broken English that James has in real life.
I closed a big job offer today with Victoria's Secret.
So how about dinner to celebrate your success? I know a good Vietnamese restaurant.
Birdemic follows Rod and Natalie, a brand new couple. They're in love, everything is great, until one day the most hilarious CGI birds I've ever seen attack their hometown. The birds have mutated into this CGI mess due to global warming. In a short documentary from Vice, James showed us exactly where these magnificent birds were created. On this baby right here.
Drag and drop an image of an eagle onto the timeline, and it's there. See that?
This movie is filled with awesome, hilarious moments, like when they're fighting birds with clothes hangers. But my favorite moment has nothing to do with the atrocious birds. It's this very awkward celebration at Rod's office.
For $1 billion!
Just the simple fact that it's so damn long, and each cut is so bad that you can even hear the audio beginning in each shot. What a fucking masterpiece.
Look, they're leaving.
Up next, we have probably a lesser known movie, Fateful Findings from 2013. Written, directed, produced, and starring God himself, Neil Breen. Neil Breen is a real estate agent and architect from Las Vegas. In the early 2000s, he began financing his own films. He's the leading star in all of them, and as of today, he's made 5 feature-length movies. Double Down, I Am Here, ... Now, Fateful Findings, Passed Through, and Twisted Pair. All of them equally awful yet hilarious. My friends usually end up hating me when I show them his movies, but it's worth it because these movies are so bizarre, awkward, and poorly acted that it just makes a perfect combination for laughter. But Fateful Findings is about, well, it's a clusterfuck. Let me try to explain this one. Neil Breen is a successful novelist. One day he gets hit by a car and surprisingly survives, but he believes that his recovery was thanks to a magical stone that he found as a child. He found this stone with his friend Leah, which he hasn't seen since they were children. Back at home from the hospital, he stops working on his current novel to instead use his amazing hacking skills to discover, and I quote, the most secret government and corporate secrets.
I've hacked into the most secret government and corporate secrets. The most secret.
A bunch of random shit happens in between. His wife becomes a drug addict and eventually has an overdose.
Emily! Wake up. Wake up.
No! God, please, no! No!
His best friend Jim is killed by his own wife, and she frames it all as a suicide, and he discovers that the doctor that helped him heal at the hospital is none other than his long-lost friend Leah. Finally, he finishes the book and releases it along with a press conference, where he reveals it all. As he's doing this, many government people and corporate executives begin committing suicide, and then Neil gets superpowers at the end out of nowhere for some reason. Holy shit, what a fucking movie. It's very fucking out there, but man if it isn't entertaining. The acting from Breen is the most wooden acting I've ever seen. Also, every single female in the movie is way out of his league, yet they're all irresistibly attracted to him, regardless of him looking like an overcooked noodle. This movie is the perfect train wreck, and it's full of perfectly bad moments. And my favorite, by far, has to be, nope, not this one. My favorite moment is when Neil finds his friend Jim dead in his garage.
Jim! Call 911! How could you have done this? Jim! I can't believe you committed suicide. I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide? I can't help you out of this one, Jim.
The lack of emotion in his performance, and also the fact that he purposely rubs his friend's blood on his face, and then this fucking line.
I can't help you out of this one, Jim.
I can't help you out of this one, Jim. This is a work of art. If somebody tried to make this movie bad on purpose, it wouldn't be nearly as funny as it actually is.
Act now. It's our only hope for the future.
So all of the movies on this list are considered to be some of the worst movies out there. However, there's a certain charm to all of them. Sure, their imperfections are hilarious at times, but behind each of these movies there's an aspiring filmmaker that made a decision to try and make their dreams come true no matter what. Behind the very awkward scenes and the incomprehensible dialogue, Tommy Wiseau was trying to tell a story of intense heartbreak. A man being brought to suicide after his entire life falls apart and everyone turns their back on him. Behind the terrible acting and absurd plot, YK Kim was trying to spread love and self-worth through a tale of friendship. An unbreakable bond between friends that would do anything for each other. Behind the atrocious click and drag CGI birds, James was trying to bring awareness to the dangers of humans polluting the planet. Behind the very ridiculous story of a magical stone and an amazing hacker of secret secrets, there is a man that simply makes movies for the love of making movies. Neil Breen probably knows his movies aren't great, but he puts his heart and soul into them. And the stories he tells are not something you see every day. These men all had dreams of making movies, and that's exactly what they did. They won't be winning any Oscars anytime soon, but they follow their dreams regardless. Most people wanting to be filmmakers probably never get as far as they did. Hell, I've never made a full-length movie in my life. So I admire these guys that had the balls to put themselves out there and go for it, regardless of the outcome. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Hit the subscribe button or don't. Just enjoy the video.